Okay, welcome to the First Class Fitness podcast with myself and Sophie. Welcome, Sophie.
Welcome.
This has been a long time coming. We've been wanting to do this for a while, so really looking forward to this. And this is essentially us relaunching the podcast, and there's going to be some educational episodes. There's also going to be some guest speakers from coaches, clients, and hopefully some other people coming in as well. So I was going to say 18 months now at First Class Fitness, but you've just told me that it's actually 20.
20 months.
20 months. And my first question I wanted to ask you was, there's obviously been, a significant identity shift since you joined. So how is the Sophie now, the person and the coach, different to who she was before you joined First Class Fitness?
I think before I go into this, I think I've always had this in me. Okay. It's just the right environment, possibly age, and just maybe personal circumstances that have brought me all together at the right time, right place, everything just came in to play. I suppose the common factor is confidence.
Okay.
I think I've really grown in confidence physically, mentally, socially, like just everything. Like I think I've described myself as a bit of a slow burner before, and it's not because I'm not social, but I am. But I think I need to feel comfortable with people for a certain amount of time before they get to know the real Sophie. This was me 20 months ago, but I feel like it just took a little while to come out because there was so much going on. Yeah, so the changed environment massively threw you essentially and took time for the real Sophie to come out in that environment. Yeah, I feel like I just turned 30, I just got engaged, I was finishing in a commercial gym, going into a private gym, and I knew that it was going to be a step up, and I just think everything combined at the beginning was a bit like, whoa, this is a lot, and I just needed to really give myself time, but also gave myself a kick up the arse to be like, okay, well, you feel like X, so what can you do to make yourself feel better and more confident in these things? And then obviously, as we know, I did small stepping stones to get to that. There's no doubt about it. I'm a happier person now than I was before, but I wasn't unhappy before.
No, I remember the first time we spoke, we sat outside at Starbucks, and you didn't seem an unhappy person then at all.
No, I was just buzzing to be there. Absolutely, buzzing to be sitting having a coffee with you, knowing what you were potentially going to be offering. And I remember getting in my car after that coffee, and I called Lee, and I was like, I've just been offered the best thing I'm ever going to get in Weymouth.
Oh, that's
Bearing
amazing,
in mind, I've not even been here 4 years yet.
No, true.
So I'm in my fourth year.
Yeah, you're not a Weymouth person like me.
No. And I knew from being a client here back in COVID 2020, even to now being here for 20 months, this is the best community to be a part of, the best gym to be working at for so many different reasons. And I knew there and then that it was the right thing to be doing.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. And I know probably you and a lot of people forget that you were actually a client. Yeah. Because you weren't a client for a long period of time because of COVID. Yeah. But you were actually a client at the gym for a month, if that.
Just over a month on female physiques.
Yeah, joined physiques and then literally COVID hit. So quite interesting actually, because we spoke a little bit then, on and off, before we met for coffee, but very limited amount of time. But I remember seeing a lot of your stuff on social media thinking, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that's a good post. Sophie's done well with that client. Like I kept seeing things crop up.
Well, I've said this on a post you recently did on the First Class Fitness social media. You put a post up of me and Di going that we've both used to be clients, obviously Di a lot longer than I was.
Yeah, of course.
And I put in the comments, I remember exactly what core superset I was doing with Jared, because I think he was my go-to coach or the person that the sessions I went. And I remember exactly what I was doing, and I said to myself, in my head, I will be working at First Class Fitness one day.
That's mad, isn't it?
And I'd not even been qualified yet, I hadn't even got a client, I was doing my PT course, and I just sat there and I was like, I'm going to work here one day.
Yeah, and that's interesting because a little bit off topic, but I'm quite a believer in visualization. Like I'm quite a big believer in like so when I used to train, I remember at university, broke my wrist before I went to university, wanted to get fit, so I started running from where I was in my student digs down to Cardiff Bay. And it was half a mile to Cardiff Bay and then half a mile back. And I remember the first time I ever went and done a run, because I'd had a couple of weeks freshers, you know what it's like. I got to Cardiff Bay and was like, I got to walk home because I'm knackered. But I kept doing it. And then I basically was like, I want to get into triathlon and blah, blah. And I can still remember vividly running back and forth from my student digs to Cardiff Bay, increasing the kilometres or mileage over the weeks. And I started visualising finishing my first triathlon. And then I remember visualising doing an Ironman, and I visualised the HQ before we got it. Like, it was all sort of there. Not like specifically that building, but I had the...
I just think everything it takes to get to that point if you tell yourself it enough.
Yeah, I think it changes your actions, behaviours and habits more than you realise. When you start visualising something, your intentions become very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So yeah, the biggest identity shift then is probably confidence.
Yeah.
You'd say.
Yeah, definitely. Confidence, being a bit more comfortable in your own skin. Like, again, it's not all about aesthetics and physical, but I think in the 20 months that I've been here, I've been through such a physical change in terms of my health and fitness journey that I think if you can do that, I don't know, I feel like you can do most things.
Yeah, I completely agree. So tell me, what are the biggest lessons you'd say you've learned? And these could be, you know, as a coach, as a person potentially, since you've been at First Class Fitness. Because I know myself that if you said what are my biggest lessons, some of them have been more life lessons that I've maybe learned from things I've done or I've learned from clients of mine.
Yeah.
And then there'll be massive lessons I've learned as a coach, as a business owner, etc. So what are the biggest lessons, would you say, for you?
There's a couple that come in line together. So one I like at the moment, and I've said this before as well, you are never finished. Okay, so if you think you're finished, then you're maybe stumbling your own growth, or you're not open to doing something different. If you think, oh, I've done that now, I'm finished. It's like when you're training for a run, oh, I've got to 5K, I'm done now. And then you stop. Well, no, you do 10K, you do half marathon, whatever. Yeah. I think it goes for coaching, it goes for your own health and fitness journey, it goes for like your personal life as well. Just never be finished, be open. You don't have to say yes to everything, but just be open-minded and don't assume that you're finished.
And do you think beforehand you were less inclined to that mindset?
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you think a lot of people are as well?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And it was in my own coaching with Jay, I did the first 12 weeks, and I think you remember this. I thought I'd made it. I was like, oh, done
12 weeks of coaching with a personal trainer or an online coach, I'm done.
I thought I was done. I
completed it, mate.
Nice little bit of ab definition there. I've lost a little bit of fat. I've got a little bit strong in certain movements. I was like, I've made it. And then I remember Jamie going, well, no, this is just the start. This is just... And I now use that with my clients where I'm like, 12 weeks is just a dent. Yeah. It's literally a chip in the wall. Like, get through that, then it's what you do after those 12 weeks that just completely elevate. But yeah, never be finished. Yeah, that's a good one.
I love that, yeah.
And it keeps you humble as well.
Absolutely, 100%. Because I've got this big thing. I'm always, you know, you hear me talk about this a lot. I'm always, I believe, like a bit like never be finished. You know, I always talk about stretching the vision of our clients. Let's keep stretching the vision for our clients, because we know that people can achieve more than they think they can.
100%.
But sometimes people don't believe it, so we've got to help them stretch the vision.
Well, we've got to show them. We are the coaches. We lead from the front. That's what we always say. So if we're doing it ourselves and we're going through these different phases and whatnot, then our clients and our members will do the same. Oh, if they've done that, then I can do that. Yeah.
And I think that's why you've inspired so many people over the last 20 months being at First Class Fitness, because they've seen you stretch your vision and not be finished with, you know, things we'll talk about later on in this podcast, you know, photo shoot, high rocks.
Being surrounded by so many amazing people all the time. You say that I've inspired people, but they've inspired me.
Yeah, it's an energy back and forwards, right?
It just mixes around and you're like, oh God, I want to... It's not even like a competitive thing. It's like, I want to do that. I just don't want to say no to anything currently.
Yeah.
I want to give it a go.
So lesson number one is never be finished.
Never be finished. Lesson number 2 is you won't know everything, and that is okay. Yeah. Okay, because we have our own niches, not even niches, that's the wrong word to use. We've got our own personalities, we've got our own experiences with our health and fitness journey. We have our own likes and dislikes, and we have our own opinions, and that's okay. Yeah. But I think when I came here, I was putting so much pressure on myself, and I thought that I needed to know everything.
Yeah.
And that's where I think, maybe I didn't show it, but I feel like I was sinking within myself because I thought I needed to know more. I did, and I made the right steps to do that, but I was putting so much pressure on myself and thinking that you're the first female coach, you've got to be this, you've got to be that, you need to know everything. And I think 20 months forward, it's okay that I didn't.
Yes.
And that's why the journey to this point has been so beautiful, because
you didn't know everything.
Because I didn't know everything.
You've learnt and come such a long way since you joined.
And you knew that I didn't know everything.
Of course, yeah. And maybe I should have told you, maybe said, look, I've hired you, I know you don't know everything, but...
Yeah, and I think, oh my God, do they think I should know this, know that? Like, even before me and Di went and did M10, and we did that coaching day, and you were trying to explain to us, and Jamie and all the boys, about shortening and lengthening muscles, right? Oh my God, literally my brain was like, what the... Went home. And then we did that course and everything just started clicking. But that's obviously something they don't teach you as a personal trainer about the science and anatomy behind it. But that was game changing. But I remember when we were first going through it, me and Di were like...
absolutely frazzled.
Yeah. It was horrible but amazing at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's lesson number 2. And then I suppose lesson number 3 is I didn't think I realised how much resilience I had until coming here.
Yeah.
Because there was a battle with confidence, and this is a very social gym.
Yeah.
And everyone's kind of got their friendship groups, or they've known each other for years, or they've been local and whatnot. Yeah. And it was quite, and actually, if I'm honest, sometimes still quite intimidating to be around that.
Yeah.
So I think you have to be quite sure of yourself, and maybe understand that you're not always going to be someone's cup of tea.
Yes.
And that's okay.
And that's okay,
It doesn't make you a bad person, you're just not their cup of tea, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But we're here to do a job. I like to think that we do it very well, and I do it well.
Of course.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
But you need a lot of resilience to be able to handle those thoughts in your heads and those situations.
Yeah, I think resilience overall in life is an underrated tool that we should all be looking to build. And that's one of the reasons I love health and fitness, because I feel like it's a good way of building resilience as a person, which you're going to be able to then transfer into everyday life. I think about the hard times I've had to go through in my life, and then they're nowhere near as hard as other people's, but I think, if I hadn't been fit, healthy, and had that ability to push myself physically, I feel like I wouldn't have been able to push myself as far mentally to deal with those situations.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you agree?
Yeah, because if we see it often with clients where in their first few months and they get ill, or they have a holiday or something like that, and then they stop, and you're like, why?
Yeah.
Why can't you just bounce back? And we can't get that, but that's because they haven't built the resilience that we have.
Yeah, I call it BBA, bounce back ability, and it's
all comes back to that thick skin and that resilience. Yeah,
resilience is that like ability to bounce back quickly, and that ability to, when your head's saying, oh, you've messed up, all your results are gone, it's that ability to go, shut up, and get on with it.
But the resilience as a coach as well, to all have those conversations with people. I was really scared of having tough conversations, but again, in the last 20 months, I've had the hardest conversations I've ever had with clients.
And how do they usually
They go really well.
Yeah, of course.
They do a complete 360 and they get really good results, and that's because you've had those hard conversations, because you've been more confident in order to do it.
Yeah.
But built that resilience and able to do that.
And the beautiful thing at First Class Fitness is, because we work at the moment with 7 coaches between us, we talk about these hard conversations we have with our clients, which normalises it.
Yeah.
Whereas other coaches and personal trainers who work alone will be thinking, is this the right conversation to have? Well, I can't talk to anyone because the only other personal trainers in this gym are fighting for the same clients as me. It's a tough place to be, isn't it?
I've never had, well, obviously I've only worked in one gym prior to this, but even in my first 2 weeks here, I had the best conversations with other personal trainers. I've never been open to that before.
No, most gyms aren't, of course.
No,
not.
it's very much like, my clients. Don't talk to my clients. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, whereas at First Class Fitness, I remember the first time I went away after you joined, and I was like, can you look after a few of my clients when I go on holiday?
I was like, yeah, okay. I didn't mind, but it was really weird.
Because in other gyms it wouldn't be that way.
Or even some of your clients now was like, oh, well, can I train with Sophie whilst you're away? Now it's normal, but at first I was like, I'm not stealing your clients.
Whereas it's just not like that here. No, absolutely. Amazing lessons. Were any more, or
that was my free.
Absolutely.
That was my free.
Okay, my next question, and I'm intrigued by this myself, and I want you to be completely honest here.
This is the one I haven't actually made that many notes on, because I wanted to do it.
That's fine.
I wanted to do it fresh.
So I'm intrigued by whether your preconception of First Class Fitness before you joined and the reality of being a coach at First Class Fitness were similar, or whether actually the preconceptions of First Class Fitness and the reality of what the brand is, what the business is, what we do is totally different. I'm intrigued.
A bit of both.
Okay.
But I've got to say it's better.
Okay, well, we'll take that.
Because I think from being a client, even for that month, I knew that the systems were slick.
Yeah.
Like from the onboarding process of female physiques, literally like you get the individual to educate themselves. So like they're setting their own kind of calorie and macro target. You know, you've got to fill out your own tracker and all that kind of stuff. Yep. So I knew that all of that was good.
Yeah.
I didn't really know many of the boys very well, only from what I saw on social media and from being here for that month.
Yeah.
But I think when you get over the initial I'm the new person and you get into the foundation and you start thinking, actually, you know, each individual has so much to offer, which is why this place works. Because no one's against each other.
No.
There's not that dog eat dog kind of fighting for the same clients as we've just been talking about. And then you've got the people. The people that come into this gym, the strength they have physically and mentally, like when you hear about what people are going through, but they still show up. Clients that you've had for 10 years, like that still come and train with you. Like it's just the atmosphere as well. It's next level. Sometimes you just walk out of this gym going, bloody hell, I feel like I was in a nightclub. Yeah,
sometimes I go home and I have to go the long way home because I'm like, my brain's still a bit buzzy from all that energy in the gym.
And just being completely amazed by the physical strength of what weights people were lifting and like females, and I was just like, bloody hell.
It is odd because like we've normalised odd behaviour downstairs. So for some people it would be odd behaviour that when they're going through a really hard time in their life to still train, to still be on top of their health and fitness. In some communities that will be seen as odd and weird, whereas we've made it in our community like, oh no, you still train, you still get on with it because it's really important. That's become like a normal behaviour in our gym, and I was thinking this the other day, and it's the same with like lifting heavy weights, with like girls deadlifting, you know, silly numbers and pressing silly numbers. It's become a really normal behaviour, therefore it's like people catch up to that normal behaviour quite quickly. If a load of our female clients, and men of course, but particularly females, went into the weight section in a few commercial gyms tomorrow, the boys would step 5 steps backwards and be like, what the hell is going on here?
We've got benching 50.
And
you go into a commercial gym, like...
wherever.
Some of the guys aren't even doing that. And again, it's not all about weight, but that's just an extreme example of that it is very normal here. But if you were to take this and put it elsewhere, it would be really abnormal to everyone else.
And that's one of the reasons we've become so good at getting results, because it's almost become easier because the behaviours of every other client in that gym, a new client coming into it goes, well, that's the normal behaviour here. It's normal to walk the long way to the gym and not get a lift because someone wants to ensure they get their steps in that day. Like, that's just a normal behaviour at the HQ, whereas somewhere else would be like, why have you come in soaking wet?
That's why we need to be careful, because even, again, me being honest, it was an intimidating environment to come into. And therefore, if that's how I felt as a, you know, I knew what I was doing in the gym, I was a coach myself. Yes, very different 20 months ago, but that's how I felt walking in. That's why doing stuff like this is really good for people to understand what we do, and that it's not an intimidating environment once you're in and you get to know it.
Correct.
But from the outside, the perception is like, oh, you have to track. No, you don't. No. We take it client by client. It's very individual. Like, you know, that's the preconception I had, is that we make every client track. So that's why.
Yeah, that's interesting,
We all like to go out for dinner and drinks and all that kind of stuff. And again, I think it's, if you train at First Class Fitness, you
can't have a social life.
Yeah, but
some of our clients have
everyone does.
Yeah.
And they're the couple that I think that we need to talk and get out there a little bit more, that actually...
Yeah, we're very normal people, and so are our clients.
Yeah.
They're just people who want to...
work hard.
Perform at the highest level in health and fitness and in life altogether.
But we push that through our programs and our personal training. Like, we expect results.
Yeah.
People come here for results, so therefore we have to deliver that. And yes, it works both ways, but anyone listening to this that doesn't train here and wants to train here, we are really normal people, and that you will get to know that. Yeah,
and I think some people think that everyone who trains at our gym is in their 30s, 20s, 30s, maybe 40s, and is a very high level of fitness, when actually if you came and sat in the corner of the HQ for a day, you'd realise that our average age of a personal training client is probably a bit higher than people think.
Yeah.
And the average fitness level is a bit lower
than
definitely. People actually think. We've got like such a wide array of clients. But obviously we can't always show that on our social media platform, because those types of individuals don't often want to be filmed, and we don't want to be filming those clients who are uncomfortable being filmed, and therefore we don't show that so much.
And that's one thing I liked about here, is that you didn't show a lot on your social media about clients. You weren't shoving it, we aren't shoving it in people's faces that, the ex-client got this on their bench press, or they squatted this. Like, we show enough.
Yeah, we show stories and journeys, not so much snippets of my client's amazing.
Because we're in it, you're in that one-to-one session, you're present, you're not worrying about filming for something else. Like, you don't need to show it off all the time, but I think we do need to maybe show a little bit more, because I think people will be quite surprised.
Correct, yeah. And going back to something you said a minute ago, it reminds me of a quote that I love, and it's like the whole saying, like, work hard, play hard, which I'm all for. I always want to teach my clients, that's fine, but you can only play as hard as you work.
Yeah.
And I'm just a believer in that I've got nothing wrong with people eating, drinking and going out for meals every weekend, going on holidays, partying. I'm all for people doing what they want to do in life.
Yeah.
But I'm just a believer, if you're playing harder than you're working, then don't expect the results and progress in every walk of life that you want.
Are you doing everything you possibly can at this moment in time to get to where you want to be? Yeah? Great. Then you need to accept this rate of progress. No? Okay. Well, then you need to evaluate your actions. And if your actions are, okay, I need to go out once a month instead of every weekend, all that kind of thing, it's the same. You know, it's all relevant to what you're working at. We are 7 fit, healthy individuals that really do take our jobs very seriously.
Absolutely.
And we are role models. So we're not going to be out all the time and going out for dinner and all that kind of thing. We do live by the 80-20, but then also it's really important to show that we do it as well. Yeah,
absolutely. And some of the coaches go through periods of doing it more than others.
Yeah.
And that's
again, it's age, fine. Isn't it? It's where you are in your personal life.
Correct.
Like, you're single, you're not single.
What's going on? Yeah, exactly that. No, absolutely.
So,
okay, no, I love that. I was intrigued by what you were going to say for that question. So, and actually I think that's probably as I would have said it, potentially.
Yeah.
But I'm pleased it was better than you thought initially.
Yeah, you're going to get more comfortable in an environment, but it's...
Yeah, more than you thought, which I like.
I mean,
I'm going to take that.
Not that I can say it now, but even where we're sitting right now, I'll just leave it at that. That is better than anything.
Yeah, exactly that. No,
that was just a conversation that got brought up in our coffee way back when.
Yes.
And it was just a passing comment, and now it's reality. So you're someone that says what they're going to do, you see it through, you do it.
Yes, okay.
So working with someone...
Walk the walk, talk the talk.
Exactly. So when you're working with someone and a group of people that do the same, you're going to go places, you're going to do good things.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like it. Let's move on to your health and fitness journey. So where did Sophie's health and fitness journey start? Yeah,
when I was prepping for this one, it's quite hard to start because...
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to unpeel the onion slightly here.
Because I wasn't good at PE at school. Actually, loads of coaches are like this, and this is what I love. I was good at team sports because I'm a team player, always have been, but I wasn't very good. I wasn't popular, but I wasn't unpopular. I was medium really.
It's okay to say you're a geek, by the way.
No, do you know, I wasn't even that clever. I was someone that just worked hard. Therefore, I got good results and grades because I worked hard.
Yes.
A bit like now, I don't do anything special in terms of health and fitness. There is one thing I do is I show up.
Yes.
All the freaking time. I never not show up.
Yeah.
So that
I agree.
That obviously helps, but I don't know where to start. Like, I suppose, I wasn't really into PE.
How did you get into a position where health and fitness needed to become a part of your life? Let's rephrase the question.
Well,
what were you doing that made you out of shape?
I was out of shape. It was university, as you said, like, out drinking, partying. I went to art school, so fitness wasn't
a high priority on the list.
No, it was, you spend time in your studio, you're gonna, pottery classes. There's loads of weird stuff that we did. I was that dungaree wearing art student. And
still comes into work in the dungarees every now and then.
Do you know what? I don't own any dungarees at the moment. That's one thing I should have said on number one. I think I've changed a little bit in terms of tone down the colours, but it's still there. I went for one run at university in my third year.
Love it.
And absolutely died.
Yeah.
And just stopped. I just did that one run, third year, whatever. And then it was kind of after, I suppose the starting point for me was my granddad. Love him. And if he listens to this podcast, I really thank you for this. Mm-hmm. And I'm not kind of saying that you're an awful person, but I walked into my nan and granddad's house, bungalow, one day. Older people are a bit more outspoken.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what my granddad said, but he basically told me that I looked...
I'd thank him.
Yeah, I do thank him.
If what you're going to say is what I think you're going to say, I'd thank him.
Basically, he told me that I'd put on a lot of weight, I wasn't looking my best, and I broke down and I left the house.
Yeah.
I just drove off because I knew it myself, but someone that I love so dearly, and that obviously I just took it as, oh my God, he thinks I'm ugly, I'm large, I'm all this, and I just thought, right, I've got to do something. So then I started running, which isn't the right thing to do, by the way, if you want to lose weight. And I reckon we should do a different podcast on that, because that is just a whole other story. We could talk about that for
half an hour.
But anyway, started running, and it did wonders for my confidence, because again, that resilience, I didn't give up. I just kept going, 5K, 10K, half marathon, whatever. Then I joined boot camps. So Jade Skillen, who is now High Rocks female.
Might see her at the weekend.
Yeah, might see her at the weekend. Oh, Jade, remember me? Actually, she probably would, because we spoke last year, but anyway.
All right, name drop.
I know, Jade. I went to her boot camps 3 times a week, and I would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd go to her boot camps, I'd go to work, and they were... I don't know, I suppose now, like strength and conditioning, battle ropes, power bags, high roxy stuff, to be honest. Yeah. And that's when I started to see a difference, in my running performance, but also my physical. I started to lose the weight.
So that was where the momentum was built from?
Yeah. So I did that. And then I decided to get a personal trainer. So when I was doing Jade Skillen's boot camps, I decided to sign up for a marathon. So this was 2017, and I entered into the ballot for 2018 London Marathon. Yeah. Didn't get it, but I got a charity place.
Okay, yeah.
So I thought, I'm going to just train and do my own program and kind of just train myself to marathon distance, not standard. Yeah. So anyway, I did that, did the London Marathon. I was really proud.
Yeah,
did it really.
So you bloody should be.
It's not about time, but it was very slow.
Yeah.
It was very slow, but I did it. And then a guy that I went to school with messaged me on Instagram. I didn't realise he had his own gym. And he was... I remembered him from school, but I thought... I didn't know whether he was trying to crack on to me or whether he was actually just genuinely impressed with what I'd
with
done.
Your marathon,
So he said, come down and see me in my gym. I'd love to chat with you about training.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, do you know what? I am going to go because I haven't seen him since school.
Yeah, so regardless, it wasn't going to be
And going back to what I said before about, he was one of the into fitness at school. He was like a gymnast. Popular kid.
Yeah.
And I remember him messaging me and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
You're a shabbat.
Do you actually remember me? Yeah.
Anyway, so I went into his gym. It was about 40 minutes from where I was living. And it's called No Ball in Stevenage, still going. And it was a CrossFit style type gym. And he sat me down, we caught up, and then he went, do you think you're fit? 'Cause you run a marathon. It was like proper like deadpan. And I kind of sat there a bit like here, and I was like, yeah, I think so. And he went, let's do a session. So I was like, okay. So we did a session. Oh my God, I was absolutely done. And he went, sign up to coaching with me. I will transform your running time. So the next point you run a marathon, you will absolutely annihilate your time. I'll do this, I'll do that. And I thought, you know what? He knew that I was now being a coach, he knew I was in a position to possibly coach, otherwise I wouldn't have even agreed to the meeting.
Yeah, it's interesting that, because I wouldn't advise anyone to utilise that method as a coach. Like, I'd never tell you guys to do that with a client. But obviously
it worked.
Yeah, fair play.
But yeah, he delivered.
Yeah, exactly.
I lost loads of weight. I got really strong. I learned how to do so many different things. Again, now thinking of it differently, I probably don't think that style of training was best suited for someone of my size and shape at the time.
Point,
because I did have some
fitness level and the way you moved.
Complications, which I now know why.
Yeah.
But I did. A year later, I went and ran a marathon. I ran the Brighton Marathon, and I shaved an hour and 15 minutes off my time. Yeah. You don't do that just like that.
No, of course not. No, that's not easy.
So I was with him for 2 years.
Amazing.
Until I moved here. And that was the only trainer I'd ever had. So, yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. And you fall in love with it. You fall in love with lifting, seeing the physical changes, the mental changes, everything that comes with it. And you're like, wow, if I can do that, I can do this. And during that time, I changed my job. I wanted better for myself. I was in an all-male environment, and I was definitely overlooked professionally.
Okay.
Intellectually, everything. And I thought, you know what, I've had enough of this. And ever since, from that point, everything I've done in my personal life and work life comes down to what I do for my health and fitness.
Yeah. She had a bit of like fuck you energy there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I
don't mind.
I can do it. Like,
yeah.
If someone's telling me I can't do it, it makes me want to go and do it more, because I will do it.
Yeah. Well, there's kind of a couple instances there, isn't there? There's your granddad situation, and then the male environment you were in and the way they were treating you. It's kind of...
Yeah, I remember signing up to the London Marathon, and one of them actually laughed. Like, nasty laugh.
Yeah, like a nasty laugh, not like a jokey one.
And was like, you won't run a marathon. I went, yeah, I will. Yeah, I did it, and I went in like 2 days later or whatever. I was hobbling like anything, but I was like, do you remember when you said I couldn't do it? And he was like, yeah, fair play, take it back.
Yeah.
So...
Amazing. And I really wanted to ask, like, if you could go back to help people listening to this now, if you could go back and tell Sophie then, who was getting into health and fitness and wanted to look and be a certain way, what like 3 key messages would you go back and give her now?
I think the important one is that I think a lot of people can resonate with this, is exercise is not a punishment. I think not going deep into this chat, and it doesn't need to be anything but probably haven't had the best upbringing in terms of my relationship with my parents.
Yeah.
And I think anyone can relate to, you feel like you've always got something to prove, or because you haven't had that approval or support from the two people that brought you into the world.
Yeah.
So I think I was always like, I need to do this because I've got something to prove. And I used it as a little bit of a punishment thing, going, you know, the Howard Pound pavements.
This comes down to what we talked about the other day a little bit in the office with, was it me, you, Di and Ryan?
Push-pull.
Yeah, I asked the question, I said, are you driven by ambition or dragged by insecurity? Because I got asked the question.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. I was like, okay, let's break this down in my head, Marcus. Like, yeah, I'm driven. I'm definitely driven by ambition. But I was like, I know I'm slightly dragged by insecurity because I think I really wanted to be a footballer.
Which I think people listening to this conversation now will be so surprised that you said that. Because you come across as such a confident,
driven, I guess, individual.
What you're doing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm slightly dragged by insecurity because I wanted to be a footballer. I didn't make it as a footballer. In fact, I probably got nowhere near. But I said I wanted to do that and I didn't make it. And I think for a while that annoyed me a bit. So I was slightly like, well, I need to still be successful in something because I wasn't at that. And then I think I'm also slightly dragged because my siblings have all done really well. And they're all really successful and they're really lovely with it. Like, they all listen to this. watch this. So like they're amazing with it, but I didn't want to fall behind that standard in my family. So I'm slightly dragged by that insecurity. I mean, I actually got a first at university and they all got 2 1s, but we won't talk about that.
Just got outed.
Yeah, cut. But like, I know I'm slightly dragged by that, but I don't think that's
a bad thing.
But I think it's good to be aware of it, and I wouldn't have used to have been, but I think I am now, and that can help. So it sounds like you've been dragged by insecurity slightly as well, but you're aware of it and you understand it a bit more now.
And I think now all the things that, even the conversation we had earlier about like, you know, comments that are being, really lovely comments that are being said about me at the moment physically, and the things that I'm doing in the gym, this is what I dreamed of wanting to do like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. Like what my body is now doing and what my body is now looking like and what I'm now is what I dreamed of 6-7 years ago. And I can't believe that that's kind of happened. So, but I'm happy that I went through that stage of thinking that exercise was a punishment. I had to, you have to figure it out yourself.
Of course, we're, as coaches, we can only guide. That's always, we talk about this a lot between us all, like, there's no point in us just telling people what to do. It doesn't resolve. And I might not be where I am if it wasn't for that, the hand that I was dealt, younger, adult life, all whatever. If I would have had that parents that love me type relationship, I think I'm happy that I've had that. That's what was meant to be for me. And you've made the most of it. But one thing that I tell clients now, and that's something I didn't when I started this, allow yourself to be a beginner. Like embrace being a beginner. I think that's huge. It is. Because I'd love to go back. I would love to go back, and now, where we are now, I'm like, sometimes I'm jealous of people back here. So people would go, I'm jealous of Marcus and Sophie because of where they are. I'm looking back going, trust me, you've got so much more to learn, and that's really fun. Like doing your first triathlon, doing your first fitness event, your first marathon, half marathon, doing your first before-after photos, doing your first bench press and being really like, oh my God, I'm so weak and shaky, and then getting to the 30-kilogram dumbbell, or whatever it is, that journey is so great. We see it all the time on group training programs. They're like, oh, they get so frustrated that they can't get an exercise straight away, and it's like, how many times have you done this? And they're like, oh, you know, it's my first time. I was like, exactly. Okay, so you're only going to get better at something you do repeatedly. You can't expect yourself to be good at it straight away when you've done it once. Like, allow yourself to be a beginner. Enjoy it. Don't rush this because you've got ages. And then I think that's such a great lesson. It goes back into the whole never be finished. Yeah, it does. You know, you get an exercise, great, okay, well, we can make it harder. Like, it's not a finished product. So just, There's a couple courses I want to do at the moment. One is a barista course, and 2 is a mountaineering course. To be a beginner. And yes, and 2 of the things that excite me most is the fact that I know I don't know how to read a map, and I'll be a complete beginner in that, and I'm cool with that. And I don't know the slightest, really. I know how to use my coffee machine, and I think I can make a good coffee. But I expect baristas would look at me make a good coffee and go, novice, and I'm cool with that. Like, so it's a good position to be in. Absolutely. And that's probably what I would say to myself 20 months ago as well. Like, it's okay. It's okay to be a beginner coach at First Class Fitness. Yes. And you'll hopefully be able to say to that to some people quite soon. I will. And definitely. My next question, this will probably be quite short, sharp, but like, imagine we're talking 18 months now. What do you think Sophie on our health and fitness journey needs to hear right now? I don't think I am complacent, but I don't want myself to get complacent. Like I love this thing that you say is like curious competitor. Yes. Like stay curious. Like I really like that. And again, it goes back to you're a normal person. You're authentic because no one can be Sophie. I can be Sophie. And I think that is a good part of my personality is that I'm curious. Yes. I want to be able to do that. I want to learn the process to do certain things. I'm interested, I'm intrigued, I'm passionate about it all. And I think that's how that I want to stay. A curious competitor. Yeah. I had a year of saying yes. I said this to you at the beginning of the year. Everything you've said, asked to do in terms of business,
Gym, I've said yes.
You asked me before this you said to me before this podcast, Sophie said to me before we started, can you just not organise anything else this year that I have to say yes to?
The only thing I want to say yes to is
beer.
Going to the Christmas party and possibly flexing my biceps in a less pissed up way this year than maybe last year. And obviously they're a little bit better.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's the only thing I'm saying yes to in December. But no, I actually really appreciate the positions that you've put me in this year, because without First Class Fitness, without you as kind of like a mentor type thing, I wouldn't have been presented with those opportunities that I've said yes to.
Yes, yeah.
But
yes, one thing saying at the start of the year I'm going to say yes. It's another thing having the opportunities to say yes to.
Yeah.
Like anyone can start the year going, I'm going to say yes this year to more. But if you stay at home all the time still and hang around with the same people who aren't offering up those opportunities, I don't really, the right opportunities aren't going to come to say yes to.
Well, actually, in my little book right now, Goals and Dreams, these were 2023. I don't need to go into them.
Of course.
But this is what I did at the beginning of the year. And I've done a lot of them.
Tell me a couple you've done, if you don't mind.
Okay, so one of them was photo shoot and boss prep.
Love it.
Build 5 kg of muscle, definitely done that.
Done that.
So those were like a couple of fitness ones.
Yeah, love it, love it.
Business ones was more tough love speaking on the camera content, which I've done on social media, which is scary.
Yeah.
Because you're putting your opinion out there, you're putting yourself...
You open yourself up to be completely dismantled.
But now I don't mind that. Yeah. I feel like if I get negative feedback, again, this is what Jay's helped me with, and he was like, if you get negative feedback, you get people hating on you, you've made it. So now I'm like, woo!
Yeah, we'll get a few pops at this probably.
Yeah, props.
Your granddad and my siblings.
No, I want my granddad to listen to this, because actually, like, he's amazing now.
Yeah, thank you.
Those were that. Loom, I really wanted to do check-ins, like via like a video thing.
Essentially improve your service as a personal trainer and coach.
Get up to 35 hours of PT, which I've done.
Probably way over that.
More now. And there's a little one here. Head up more of female physiques. Now, this definitely hasn't happened yet.
I disagree.
But the fact that I put that in January of this year, we're now approaching December, and that we've obviously talked about a few things, and now what I do. I basically wanted more...
Your role within FCF has gone up. Your roles and responsibilities have increased. So I'd say you have achieved that.
Yeah.
You've got much more, like all the female group coaching clients, members listening to this now will know that this year you've helped them a lot more than you would have last year. So
yeah, definitely.
Amazing. Let's move on. High Rocks.
What?
How are you feeling about it?
High Rocks, ...
High Rocks, how are you feeling about it? Obviously, we're competing at High Rocks on Saturday.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, we're Wednesday now.
3 more sleeps.
Yeah.
3 more sleeps.
How are you feeling about it, and what's the experience been like so far in terms of training for it?
I'm excited. I am nervous for my own personal performance and day. But I am so excited and so proud of all of the people that we've trained with in terms of members.
Yeah.
Like, and I said to you earlier, me, Jem, Sam, and AJ all went up with you, and Charlie Allen and Dave for the last peak in Snowdonia back in April.
Yeah.
Like, and to share that moment with them this year, like in terms of like,
because it was snowing. It was snowing at the top, by the way.
To then be in this position to see them or be with them on the front line of something that's like really quite intense is amazing. But it's been the hardest but most amazing training block I think I've ever done. Yeah. Like your program that you did it's just next level. Like humbling, sweaty. Yeah. Like even the nervous energy that you have before every session, and we've been training for 16 weeks for this, and you've not once gone into a session thinking, I got this.
This will be all right.
Yeah.
Everyone you go into with knowing that you're going to have to go to a deep, dark place. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about it the other day, because I just put the 16-week plan together like a bit blind, because none of us have ever done High Rocks. I looked at it, what it consisted of, and it was like, right, create a program that's going to get 9 people or 10 people, whatever it is, from here to here. It's a bit blind, so we didn't really know exactly how every session would work, and we've had to tweak a few along the way. But the really interesting thing when you reflect on it is like, it's been like a really cool journey.
Yeah.
Because we've all competed in a really positive way against each other.
Yeah, it's been nice, competitive.
We've all had our own shit within those 16 weeks because everyone will always have stuff going on in their life.
Yeah.
And everyone's battled hard through that. So that experience of this weekend's just going to be really take away the fact, like all the times and that rubbish, because we're all there. It's our first ever one. We're just there to have a go at it.
Yeah.
It's just going to be really magical, I think.
Hang on, though, if we do really well, we will be doing another podcast and just basically going on about how well we've done. But let's just see.
Yeah, we'll save that one.
But it's just been really nice to have such a buzz and adrenaline rush from training.
Yes.
Because I think with strength training, it is amazing, but it's when you've been doing something for so long, you miss like a buzz.
Yeah, I've been strength training since I was 16,
Do you know,
if
it's
not
the
maybe
same.
15. So I'm 32 now, so that's like 17 years. Of course, I've gone off on different tangents at times, but one constant throughout those 17 years is that I've done some form of strength training.
But that's what we tell our clients.
From the age of, and I want all our clients to be doing it, and I want to be doing it, but I think sometimes you have to throw other things in there, like kind of I think Hyrox is great for that, because sometimes you need that fresh element to your training. Yeah,
and it's now changing what I'm going to do for the rest of the year, maybe next year, whatever, and the same I think for you, and I think the same for the people that we've got going into this. I think it's going to change their mindset around training and actually to try and keep this level of fitness that we've all really built. But it's just been a great...
Yeah, it's just been a great experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
The whole thing, yeah. And obviously, we're going to be helping a lot more people compete at their first Hyrox potentially next year, so look out for that one.
Hyrox is going to be a big thing. It is big now.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about it. We are now in a position where we would have done our first one, we would have completed a training program, and we can help others get to their first Hyrox or second or whatever.
Whatever it is,
yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's going to be great.
Like moving on to coaching a bit more now, like what are the 2 to 3 main traits you see in like successful clients of yours and First Class Fitness? Like things that they do that is, and you go, these types of people are getting results.
Communication.
Yeah.
They communicate with you as their coach.
And why is that important?
Because we're not mind readers.
Yeah.
Okay, we cannot help if we don't know what's going on, and that's physically, mentally, socially. Like obviously we do client check-ins each week, and I'm always getting my clients to give me an update before I do that check-in, whether it's on their trackers, programs, form, whatever. I like to know what's going on because it all has, it's all correlation. There's a correlation between it all. And that's one thing that I see with certainly my long-term clients that have got the best results is because they communicate with me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Our clients are more than just the hour, and this is something that we are all really strongly passionate about, is that yes, we get paid an hourly rate, but all of our clients know that we speak to them via message. Yep. I mean, sometimes we even spoke to some of mine on the phone if they've been poorly. Yeah.
Go for a coffee sometimes if that's needed or required.
A walk or whatever. Yeah, they know that they're more than that hour.
Yeah, I think it's so important. Our job is sometimes problem solving.
Yeah.
We have to find the solutions to people's problems.
Yeah.
And if that client doesn't communicate, then essentially you can't do your job because you can't find the solution to their problem when they're not letting you know the big picture or the full picture.
We've never had a one-to-one client really shut down and completely like, I don't know, they say ghost, don't they? That's never happened because we don't give that environment, we don't offer that environment. It's like, it's communication straight from the off. As soon as they walk through the doors, it's like, you will get a check-in each week. Yeah. I will be available on messages.
You can ask as many questions as you like in the Facebook group, to your GTC, to your coach, whatever.
At the weekends, yes, the weekend. But most of us work until Saturday lunchtime. Most of us work Sundays.
At least have a block of work.
You know, we just have that. People can talk to us all the time. So communication is massively important to getting results. I did a post on this last week, time. Yeah. Yeah, I think I put, I'm not against 12 weeks transformations, but there is only a certain amount of time, there's only a certain amount of things that you can achieve in 12 weeks.
Yeah, of course.
As we've already spoken on this, it's a dent, it's a chip, it's the start. But if that client allows themselves to work with you for a period of time, they will get the best results because you get to understand their mindset, their struggles, their job, their home life, like everything. Yeah. I mean, you know, there's some of the conversations you have on the gym floor sometimes with clients, it's like, oh my God, like, I can't believe that you've gone through that.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So, time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
That relationship you build, and God, I know some of my clients better than my own members of family.
100%, yeah.
You know?
No, I completely agree. And time gives you that ability, like we spoke about earlier, to stretch people's vision.
Yeah.
And
keep
make them
pushing
realise having time gives you the ability to show that person what they actually can achieve, because what they think they can achieve and what they can achieve are usually massively far apart.
Well, this is where people fall down, is they think weeks.
Yeah.
We always go on about months and years. Again, with my own health and
Yeah,
fitness
you've done
journey,
it yourself.
it is years.
Yeah.
Oh, Sophie, you look great. It takes years from going to A to B.
Yeah.
Obviously, some people...
12 weeks should be seen as a block.
Yeah.
It's okay to have a more intense block or phase, but you still must be thinking big, because why would you ever want to get fit and healthy and then just stand still?
Or go backwards.
Yeah, exactly, because it's never stand still, it's always go backwards, because humans don't like standing still.
It's like, you know, your life has phases, so does your training.
Yeah.
You're not always going to be on it all the time.
No, push, pull.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
fine.
But if you give yourself enough time, or we have time with clients, they always get the best results, and they're the most successful because they're not thinking, weeks, they're thinking months, they're thinking years.
So communication and time?
Yeah, trusting and listening.
Trusting and listening.
So we are coaches, we do know what we're talking about, otherwise we wouldn't be here, and you wouldn't necessarily have coaches on your gym floor if they didn't know what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And I find the ones that trust and listen and take on board everything you're saying get the best results. They use the tools that we provide. They are utilising their check-ins. They are updating some form of tracker in terms of progress. I'm not even just talking about tracking nutrition or anything like that. It's tracking progress. Yeah. Can you see yourself progressing with a certain training program? Or even if something's like they've set themselves a goal to like run once a week, but they did it this time and then didn't bother the next month. Like, are you seeing some form of progress? Are they kind of listening to that support that we're giving them and using the tools?
I love it when a client comes on board and says, look, I've tried things before, Marcus, and they haven't worked, but I trust you and I'm just going to listen and pretend I don't know anything and do what you say. And I love that because I know when someone says that, I'm like, right, they're going to just listen to what I say, so I can really quickly hit the ground running with this person, because they're not going to go, I'm not going to set their calories, I'm not going to give them the training program, I'm not going to tell them they need to do this, and they're going to go, oh, but da-da-da-da-da, oh, but Google said, oh, but da-da-da-da-da, MyFitnessPal put my calories on lower, or, do you know what I mean? They're just like, yeah, cool.
I'm up for questions.
Cool. Yeah, of course.
But listen.
But sometimes when people are asking question, it's because they don't trust.
Yeah.
And it's because they're not listening. Sometimes, don't get me wrong, I want that curious competitor, like we spoke about, someone who wants to question things in the right way.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between someone who's asking like good questions to someone who's just like questioning everything you do because they don't fully trust you and they're not willing to listen. They think they know better or know more.
And therefore it's not the right time for them.
Correct, exactly.
And that's fine. Yeah. I'd rather let that person go and try it on their own and do those bits, and that's fine. Like, I'd always leave something in a really good kind of open that they can come back. But yeah, if that trust and ability to listen and take on board what I'm saying isn't there, then it's not going to work.
Agree. I think they're amazing, and I think they're what I would have said as well. Let's finish this podcast on a more light-hearted note. What is your funniest moment since being at First Class Fitness? Because I think it's important. The reason I like to ask this question, I wanted to ask this question, was because I want people to know that we have a lot of fun at First Class Fitness as well.
Okay, you know which one's going to be my first one.
Go on.
Which one do you think is my one?
The cup.
Oh, no.
Oh, really?
When I locked myself in the gym.
Oh, you locked yourself in the gym. Was that like a week in? 2 weeks in?
I think I was like 2 weeks in, and you guys were
we
going to play squash.
We went to play badminton
like,
because Jared was leaving, and we were like, we want to go play some sport.
And I thought, I'll train.
And you were like, I don't want to go with the boys, so I'll train on my own.
And I don't even know how I did it, but anyone listening to this that knows me, like, I'm a bit of a tard when it comes to like locks and keys anyway. Yeah. But yeah, I locked myself in the gym, and I had to call Marcus and say, I locked myself in the gym. Obviously, like, I knew all the boys were going to be there, and I knew I'd never let it down, but they must have thought, who is this girl that's working with us? Anyway, so that one. The other one was when I got the trap bar out and didn't realise that it weighed double the amount of a trap bar that I'd actually been using in the previous gym I was working at. So I went from a 15 kg trap bar to a 30, and I literally did this little dance, and Jack had to kind of help me with it.
That was like day one as well.
Yeah. These are all quite early on, actually. Another one was when Pussycat Dolls, Don't Ya came on, and it was like, obviously in the gym, we're all singing, sometimes dancing, and you did that.
I'd done my...
did this body roll.
It was better than that, but yeah.
Yeah, but I looked over and I thought, oh my God, camp. And then lastly is when I'd made like a playlist to put on in the gym. And Ryan was like, oh, Sophie, can you put some music on? And I was like, yeah, okay. And I went, right, go outside. I'm going to put this song on and watch Harry's face. And it was like a Ja Rule song.
Yeah.
And then Harry was like just leaning on the bar, and he was with a client, and we put it on, and then we both went out of the door.
Walked in at the same time.
And then Harry was like, so I said, told you.
I love it in HQ when a good song comes on.
Yeah, everyone
because we all look across the gym at each other like...
Yeah, it's just such a good atmosphere. So.
Love it. And finally, to finish, like, what's Sophie looking forward to personally and professionally over the next year? Because I know it's exciting times for you.
Okay, so next year... Most people know I'm getting married, so that's really exciting.
In Greece?
In Greece. So yeah, I'm very excited to get married and have all of that, and just, again, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, enjoy that process and not being like, I want to get to the end point, I want to get to the end point. So how we use our health and fitness journeys, I kind of want to do that with my own, because I think it's really, you can get sucked up in the stress and everything like that, and I want to kind of enjoy it because it is like a big thing.
Yeah,
so
I would advise that.
My wedding, and then we worked out earlier that I am actually entering my 4th year into coaching. So from being someone who was in lockdown, furloughed from a job she absolutely hated, living in a completely different place and county to what she is now, to being in this position and entering into my 4th year when a couple of people were like, you won't make it as a personal trainer because it's a saturated market, you won't make it because you're not local. Well, I've done it and I'm really enjoying it.
Haters always going to hate.
And I'm really excited because I think this next year is probably going to be the best.
It'll be the most exciting year that First Class Fitness has ever had.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
for so many different reasons.
Yeah. Say no more. Yeah. Say no more. No, like, to round up, I just wanted to say, like, how amazing you've been the last 20 months of First Class Fitness. And personally, and I know a lot of clients will say the same, and the coaches downstairs, it's been amazing watching your journey as a person and as a coach. Not only watch you grow, but as you grow, how people have followed you. It's incredible to see, and you've done amazing, and I'm very proud of you. So
thank you.
Spuds. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we're going to have some more exciting guests on the show very soon, so we'll see you on the next one.